I want to start off with an apology because it's been a little bit of time since I've posted, but honestly, it's funny enough that this entry kind of relates to what's going on. So, without further ado, let's start. So, one of the biggest, I want to say, obstacles that I had to face in my life was the idea of doing everything perfect. Perfection is something that we all desire but will never achieve. We will all try to be flawless as possible, but in reality, perfection doesn't exist, and it's simple as that. And the sooner we understand that, the sooner we get closer to achieving our dreams and actual aspirations in our life. And perfection always deters us from actually reaching where we want to be because we try to do everything like perfectly planned, but that doesn't exist. Nothing's going to go to plan. And I just want to jump out the gate and say that off the very rip of this. Once we learn to accept that before we send ourselves on an endless journey that we'll never find a resolution to, the answers that you're looking for tend to just appear and they're more present than ever. Like, how many times have you really looked for something very hard and then when you stopped looking for it, it was right there? That's what this is like. Perfection is very similar to that. If we stop looking for perfection, we will find the answers to what we're looking for. We'll find the guidance, the direction that we need to go. And perfection kind of affects my life presently, previously, because I've always had this issue with trying to do everything so perfectly. And it's very hypocritical of me making a video about perfection, but I know that I have to get rid of it. And that goes for everything that I do. For example, this channel, I took a little break because I was getting worried about my content. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing will be. In my eyes, I think perfection often leads us further away from where we want to be. It's okay to set goals, and it's okay to be tough on yourself. But always remember that there's an up and there's a down. We don't always want to go up. Sometimes we need to go down. Sometimes we stay stagnant. That's normal. That's life. It doesn't matter at what point of life you're in. You're always going to need to take a step back to be able to see the bigger picture on a full scale. There wouldn't be success without failure. The only way to find success is with failure. We have to fail before we learn. We have to fall before we take our first steps. And even then, we continue to work the strength to be able to keep our balance. At the end of the day, it's all a balance, and that's what we must understand in order to move forward. And that goes with everything in life. One of the biggest things that I struggle with personally is I'll make a time frame or a goal, or I set this ambition, and I have to do it within a certain limit or a certain time, but it's my life. It's my time. Yes, time is not unlimited, but I have to go at my own pace. It's not about a rush or racing with others. I'm only racing with my own faith. And then I get too caught up in the idea of making a mistake or falling behind in the goals that I make. And sometimes I make mistakes. Everyone does. We're human. We're supposed to. Sometimes the mistakes can be drastic and life changes. But the thing is, it's already happened. And now we have to move forward from it. Sometimes the mistake will repeat. And we won't learn until we get through it and we finally understand what we did wrong. But the key part to that sentence was, learn from your mistakes. We can't make a mistake and keep doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different outcome. If we made a mistake, we have to analyze where we messed up to be able to move forward. That's how you learn from it. And sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes there will be multiple mistakes within the plan or idea or thing you did, and you didn't even realize it the first time around. But that's important to note, because 9 times out of 10, the mistake is what's going to open our eyes to the answers that we're looking for. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. We're meant to. We're bound to. We're human. 2 words that coexist together for some odd reason is mistakes and failure. Mistakes create opportunities, and giving up creates failure. We're human, obviously. I've mentioned it multiple times, but I think we know that by now. But we're creatures of evolution, and we're still evolving. We often forget that we're not even finished evolving yet. And even then, we're never going to be perfect in that process. So understanding that, why do we chase after it? The most important thing that we could do is wake up and try to be our best. I promise you'll land exactly where you need to be eventually. But stop worrying about perfection. It's not going to work out. Perfection is all a perception. That is flawed, ironically enough, because there's no way of describing it. If we've never achieved it, why are we desiring something that doesn't even exist? We're all meant to be flawed, imperfect creatures. That's what makes us so special. Our job is to be the best version of ourselves. And to achieve that, we must accept the losses that we take or the mistakes that we make, or being lost or being in a place where you just don't want to be. Embrace it all. It's okay. We need these aspects in our lives so we can continue to step forward. We all have a past, we all have backgrounds, but we need those aspects to contribute to the story that we're making. And when you reflect on any of these moments, you realize that none of these moments were perfect, but you were present, and that's all that matters. Accept yourself for who you are. Be happy with who you're becoming. And if you aren't happy, work towards it. The only person that could bring you that fullest form of joy is yourself, and you're the only person that's able to enable that. Be happy and remember that life will get better if you strive for better. If you're going through battles that no one knows about, remember that you won't fix it with perfection. You'll find a cure with the effort that you put. Keep trying. And on that note, I'm closing off. I want to say thank you to everybody for watching, and I hope I was able to help somebody.